Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today, we will learn about the explosive developments coming to Port Charles as the new year begins with shocking revelations, dangerous confrontations, and life-altering decisions that will leave fans on the edge of their seats. Special programming note for General Hospital viewers. Before diving into the dramatic events ahead, viewers should be aware of an important scheduling update for the beloved daytime drama. ABC has made the decision not to air a brand new episode of General Hospital on New Year's Day, Wednesday, January 1st, 2026. Instead, the network will be treating longtime fans to a nostalgic journey back in time with a special encore presentation from 2015. This classic episode features one of the most memorable moments in General Hospital history, the emotional departure of the legendary Luke Spencer from Port Charles. For those who remember this pivotal moment, it's an opportunity to relive the farewell of an iconic character who shaped decades of storylines. For newer viewers, it's a chance to witness a piece of General Hospital legacy that defined an era of the show. However, devoted fans need not worry about missing out on fresh drama for too long. ABC has confirmed that General Hospital will return with an all-new, action-packed episode on Friday, January 2nd, 2026. This upcoming episode promises to deliver the kind of intense courtroom drama, family conflicts, and dangerous power plays that have made General Hospital a staple of daytime television for over half a century. The storylines that have been building throughout the holiday season will reach new heights of tension, and several characters will find themselves at critical crossroads that could change their lives forever. Dante Falconeri faces troubling developments. Detective Dante Falconeri finds himself in the middle of increasingly complicated legal proceedings that threaten to upend the lives of multiple Port Charles residents. In the upcoming episode, Dante will have a crucial meeting with Assistant District Attorney Justine Turner, who has been aggressively prosecuting the case against Willow Corlett. During their conference, Turner will deliver a chilling assessment of the situation, telling Dante with absolute certainty that Alexis has dug her own grave along with Willow Tate. This stark warning suggests that defense attorney Alexis Davis's aggressive courtroom tactics may be backfiring in ways she never anticipated. The conversation between Dante and the ADA will likely cover multiple explosive elements of Willow's criminal trial. The case has already produced several unexpected twists and turns that have left legal observers stunned. Turner and Dante will probably discuss the various curveballs that have been thrown during the proceedings, including surprise testimony and evidence that has emerged at critical moments. These revelations have complicated what many initially thought would be a straightforward case, transforming it into one of the most talked about trials in Port Charles history. Additionally, their discussion may touch upon another troubling development that has sent shockwaves through the Port Charles Police Department. Detective Harrison Chase's suspension. Chase, who has always been known for his integrity and dedication to justice, now finds himself on the outside looking in, unable to actively participate in police work during this critical time. His suspension has raised questions about what events led to this disciplinary action and how it connects to the broader web of secrets and lies that currently entangles several prominent Port Charles families. The ramifications of Chase's absence from the force could have far-reaching consequences for ongoing investigations and the balance of power within the police department. Sonny Corinthos attempts to protect his son. The legendary mob boss Sonny Corinthos recognizes the gathering storm clouds and knows his son Michael is walking into a potentially catastrophic situation. In Friday's episode, Sonny will make an urgent attempt to warn Michael about the dangers that lie ahead, particularly regarding his upcoming testimony on the witness stand. Sonny's instincts, honed by decades of navigating treacherous waters in both the criminal underworld and legitimate business world, are telling him that Michael is in serious jeopardy. Sonny's warning will likely focus on the critical importance of how Michael answers questions during his testimony. The mob boss understands better than most that a single misspoken word or inconsistent statement can unravel an entire narrative. He knows that prosecutors and defense attorneys alike are skilled at setting verbal traps, asking seemingly innocuous questions that can lead witnesses into contradicting themselves or revealing information they intended to keep hidden. Sonny wants Michael to understand that every word he speaks under oath will be scrutinized, dissected, and potentially used against him or others he cares about. The urgency in Sonny's warning stems from his knowledge of the many lies Michael has already told in his attempts to protect Willow and maintain the carefully constructed story that has been presented to authorities. One of the most significant deceptions involves Michael's fabricated alibi with Jacinda Breckle. This false narrative was created to provide cover for events that actually occurred, but maintaining consistency in a lie becomes exponentially more difficult under the pressure of cross-examination. A skilled attorney can exploit even the smallest inconsistency, using it to undermine a witness's entire credibility. Furthermore, there's the matter of a mysterious note that defense attorney Alexis Davis received. This note allegedly contains information about a secret shared between Michael and Tracy Quartermaine, the formidable matriarch of the Quartermaine family. The nature of this secret remains unclear, but its existence suggests there are additional layers of deception that could be exposed during the trial. If this information comes to light during Michael's testimony, it could create devastating consequences not just for him, but for multiple members of the Quartermaine and Corinthos families. Despite Sonny's well-intentioned warnings and genuine concern for his son's welfare, Michael will respond with confidence bordering on arrogance. The young businessman will insist to his father that he has everything under control, that he's thought through all possible scenarios, and that he's prepared for whatever questions come his way. This overconfidence may prove to be Michael's undoing, as he underestimates the cunning and determination of Alexis Davis, who has proven time and again that she's willing to employ unconventional and aggressive tactics to defend her clients. Alexis has already demonstrated her willingness to blindside witnesses during this trial, as evidenced by her devastating cross-examination of Dr. Portia Robinson. During that memorable courtroom exchange, Alexis threw unexpected curveballs that left Portia struggling to maintain her composure and credibility. If Alexis employs similar tactics with Michael, his carefully rehearsed responses may crumble under pressure, potentially exposing the web of lies that multiple parties have woven to protect themselves and each other. Before this trial concludes, multiple lives could be permanently damaged or destroyed. Relationships could be irreparably broken, and secrets that were meant to stay buried forever could be dragged into the harsh light of public scrutiny. Kristina's shocking realization. Kristina Corinthos Davis, caught between her loyalty to her family and her commitment to truth, will experience a moment of profound shock in Friday's episode. Something she learns or observes will take her completely aback, forcing her to reassess her understanding of recent events and the motivations of people she thought she knew. The nature of Kristina's surprise appears to be connected to her growing belief that someone is deliberately framing her brother Michael for actions he didn't commit. Kristina has always had a complicated relationship with Michael, marked by both sibling rivalry and genuine affection. Despite their differences and past conflicts, she doesn't want to see him destroyed by false accusations or manipulated evidence. Her conviction that Michael is being set up suggests she may have discovered information or noticed patterns that others have overlooked. Alternatively, Kristina's shocked reaction might stem from learning about Alexis's strategic plan to systematically dismantle Michael's alibi during Willow's trial. As both Alexis's daughter and Michael's sister, Kristina finds herself in an impossibly difficult position. She loves and respects her mother, understanding that Alexis is simply doing her job as a defense attorney and fighting zealously for her client. At the same time, she cares about her brother and doesn't want to see him humiliated or criminally exposed as a result of courtroom warfare. This internal conflict will force Kristina to make difficult choices about where her ultimate loyalties lie and what role, if any, she should play in the unfolding drama. Portia's dangerous game with Sidwell. Dr. Portia Robinson reveals to her husband Curtis Ashford that she's engaged in a high-stakes game of deception with the dangerous crime figure Jen Sidwell. In a moment of candor, Portia will tell Curtis that she's been actively playing Sidwell, manipulating the criminal to believe she's cooperating with his demands while secretly working to bring about his downfall. Her determination is absolute. She intends to continue this dangerous charade until she can take Sidwell down completely. Portia's plan is incredibly risky. Jen Sidwell is not a man to be trifled with. He's survived in the cutthroat criminal underworld by being ruthless, paranoid, and quick to eliminate threats. If he discovers that Portia has been deceiving him, the consequences could be deadly, not just for her, but potentially for Curtis and others she cares about. Yet Portia seems convinced that this is the only path forward, that playing it safe will only allow Sidwell to maintain his stranglehold on Port Charles and continue victimizing innocent people. Curtis's reaction to this revelation will be crucial. As someone who has faced his own share of dangerous situations and moral dilemmas, he understands the appeal of taking direct action against a threat. However, he also recognizes the potential for catastrophic consequences if Portia's deception is uncovered. The tension between supporting his wife's courageous stand and protecting her from harm will create powerful emotional conflicts in their relationship. Laura Collins faces an impossible demand. Mayor Laura Collins continues to struggle under the weight of Jen Sidwell's blackmail scheme. For weeks now, Laura has been forced to comply with Sidwell's demands, each request chipping away at her integrity and testing the limits of what she's willing to do to protect what matters most to her. She's managed to navigate these treacherous waters so far, finding ways to technically comply with Sidwell's orders without completely compromising her values or breaking the law in ways that would be immediately obvious. However, the upcoming episode will present Laura with a new request from Sidwell that could represent a point of no return. This latest demand appears to be significantly more serious than previous orders, potentially requiring Laura to take actions that would put her freedom directly at risk. The stakes have been raised to a dangerous new level, and Laura must decide whether she can continue to play along with Sidwell's game or if the time has come to expose the blackmail and face whatever consequences may result. In a chilling conversation with his associate Marco, Sidwell will make his strategy clear. They should never allow Laura to forget what she stands to lose if she fails to comply with his demands. This calculated approach to maintaining control over the mayor demonstrates Sidwell's understanding of human psychology and his willingness to exploit people's fears and vulnerabilities. By constantly reminding Laura of what's at stake, he ensures that she remains compliant and cooperative, always weighing the potential consequences of rebellion against the immediate costs of submission. The situation has now reached a critical juncture where Laura must make impossible choices that will define her character and determine the future of Port Charles. Will she continue to sacrifice her principles to protect what Sidwell is threatening? Or will she find the courage to resist, even knowing that doing so could result in the loss of everything she holds dear? These questions will drive the narrative forward as Port Charles residents find themselves caught in an increasingly dangerous web of criminal manipulation and moral compromise. Next, we will learn about the issue of Brad Cooper's dramatic return to Port Charles and how his unexpected comeback might be the catalyst that exposes Marco Rios's dangerous secrets while simultaneously rescuing Lucas Jones from a potentially deadly situation that threatens to spiral completely out of control. Brad's timely return. The timing of Brad Cooper's arrival back in Port Charles couldn't be more perfect, especially considering the precarious position Lucas currently finds himself in. Brad's reappearance on the scene represents more than just a nostalgic reunion with his ex-husband. It presents a genuine opportunity for intervention in what is rapidly becoming a catastrophic relationship between Lucas and Marco Rios. The dynamic between these three men is about to shift dramatically, and Brad may very well position himself as the unlikely hero in this unfolding drama. Brad has always been drawn to Lucas, despite their tumultuous history filled with deception and heartbreak. Their past relationship though scarred by Brad's numerous mistakes and betrayals, was built on a foundation of genuine love and connection that neither man has been able to fully shake off. Now that Brad has returned to town, he's acutely aware that Lucas has moved on with someone new. But what Brad doesn't yet realize is that Marco Rios represents a far greater threat to Lucas's safety than Brad's past indiscretions ever did. Lucas's dangerous blindness. Lucas Jones is currently operating under a veil of complete ignorance regarding the true nature of Marco's involvement with his criminal father, Jen Sidwell. This lack of awareness is perhaps the most troubling aspect of the entire situation. Lucas believes he's found a healthy, stable relationship with a man who genuinely cares for him and accepts him for who he is. The reality, however, paints a drastically different picture. Marco is deeply entangled in his father's nefarious operations, and this connection puts Lucas in imminent danger every single day he spends at Windermere. When Marco first entered the Port Charles scene, initial impressions suggested he possessed a strong moral compass and decent values. Many residents, including Lucas, believed Marco could be the right partner for someone looking to build a stable, loving relationship. These early observations have proven to be dangerously misleading. Marco has been harboring significant secrets from Lucas since the very beginning of their courtship. Secrets that would send Lucas running in the opposite direction if he knew the full truth about the man he's falling for. The Windermere Trap. The decision to move into Windermere represents one of the most concerning red flags in Lucas and Marco's relationship. Marco actively pushed for Lucas to relocate to the imposing castle, insisting they take up residence alongside Sidwell himself. This arrangement is admittedly bizarre and raises numerous questions about Marco's true intentions. Any rational person in a healthy relationship would want to establish their own independent living space with their partner, creating a private sanctuary away from family interference. Instead, Marco has opted to bring Lucas directly into the lion's den, placing him under the same roof as one of Port Charles's most dangerous criminals. Living at Windermere exposes Lucas to constant peril that he doesn't even recognize. Sidwell operates his criminal empire from within those Gothic walls, conducting dangerous business that could easily result in collateral damage. Lucas could inadvertently overhear confidential conversations, witness illegal transactions, or stumble upon evidence that would make him a liability in Sidwell's eyes. The crime boss has already made his position crystal clear to his subordinate Pascal, explicitly stating that should Lucas become a problem in any way, Pascal would be assigned the grim task of taking care of it. This chilling directive essentially places a death sentence over Lucas's head, conditional only on him learning too much about the criminal activity surrounding him. Carly's ignored warnings. Carly, Lucas's protective and loving sister, immediately recognized the danger inherent in Lucas's relationship with Marco and his plans to move into Windermere. She attempted to intervene and warn her brother about the risks he was taking, but her concerns fell on completely deaf ears. Lucas's reaction to Carly's warnings reveals just how deeply he's fallen under Marco's influence and how blind he's become to the obvious danger signs that should be alarming him. The confrontation between Carly and Lucas at Bobby's restaurant exemplifies the growing rift between the siblings. Lucas actually expected Carly to be thrilled and supportive when he announced his intention to move in with Sidwell and Marco, despite Carly being fully aware of Sidwell's reputation as a dangerous criminal. When Carly instead expressed her legitimate concerns and advised against this reckless decision, Lucas became defensive and dismissive. He essentially told Carly it wasn't her place to look out for him, rejecting her sisterly love and protection in favor of his romanticized view of his relationship with Marco. The encounter ended with Lucas walking out on Carly, leaving her heartbroken and terrified for her brother's safety. Marco's hidden agenda. Beyond the immediate physical danger, Marco is harboring an even more sinister secret that Lucas remains completely unaware of. Marco isn't just passively involved in his father's criminal operations. He's actively participating in a vendetta against Sonny Corinthos. Marco has become consumed with an obsession to make Sonny pay for what he perceives as Sonny's role in his mother Natalia Ramirez's tragic suicide. This fixation has warped Marco's judgment and moral compass, transforming him into someone willing to use any means necessary to achieve his goal of revenge. Marco's blame of Sonny for Natalia's death is fundamentally misplaced and reveals his inability to face uncomfortable truths about his own failures as a son. The reality is that Sonny Corinthos did everything within his power to help Natalia when she was struggling. He offered her genuine friendship, emotional support, and even proposed giving her a fresh start and a new life away from her troubles. Sonny was arguably the only true friend Natalia had in Port Charles during her darkest hours. The actual tragedy lies in the fact that when Natalia reached out to Marco in her final moments, calling him right before she took her own life, Marco couldn't be bothered to answer his phone. This failure haunts Marco, but instead of accepting responsibility for his absence when his mother needed him most, he's redirected all his guilt and pain towards Sonny. The father-son dynamic. Marco's relationship with his father, Jen Sidwell, plays a crucial role in his distorted worldview and dangerous choices. Marco has always been closer to Sidwell than to his mother, primarily because Sidwell accepted Marco's lifestyle without judgment or reservation. In contrast, Natalia struggled to fully embrace certain aspects of Marco's identity, creating tension and distance between mother and son. This fundamental difference in acceptance from his parents shaped Marco's allegiances and influenced his decision to align himself with his father's criminal enterprise. Marco views Sidwell through rose-colored glasses, seeing him as a wonderful and supportive parent rather than recognizing him for the ruthless criminal he truly is. This idealized perception of his father has made Marco susceptible to manipulation and has drawn him deeper into morally questionable activities. Marco genuinely believes his father's methods and lifestyle are justified, and this belief system puts him directly at odds with the values that should guide someone in a healthy relationship. Lucas has no idea that the man he's falling for has already crossed numerous ethical boundaries and is willing to participate in potentially lethal schemes. Brad's potential for redemption. Brad Cooper's return to Port Charles presents a unique opportunity for both redemption and rescue. Brad is fully aware of his past mistakes and the pain he caused Lucas during their marriage. He carries genuine remorse for his actions and harbors a deep desire to make amends and possibly reconcile with the one person he's never stopped loving. Brad's desperation to reunite with Lucas isn't merely selfish longing, it stems from authentic feelings that have endured despite their separation and all the drama that tore them apart. The grass often appears greener on the other side, and Lucas currently believes that Marco represents a healthier, more stable option compared to his tumultuous history with Brad. This perception couldn't be further from the truth. While Brad certainly made serious mistakes during their relationship, he never put Lucas in mortal danger or aligned himself with murderous criminals. Brad's transgressions pale in comparison to the threat Marco and Sidwell posed to Lucas's very survival. If Lucas could see the situation objectively, he would recognize that Brad, for all his flaws, at least genuinely cared about Lucas's well-being and would never knowingly place him in harm's way. The investigation begins. As Brad settles back into Port Charles' life, he'll inevitably begin noticing troubling details about Lucas's new relationship. Brad's natural curiosity and his protective instincts toward Lucas will likely prompt him to investigate Marco more thoroughly. Through observation, conversation, and possibly some strategic sleuthing, Brad may uncover the truth about Sidwell's criminal operations and Marco's complicit involvement in them. This discovery could provide Brad with the ammunition he needs to finally open Lucas's eyes to the reality of his dangerous situation. If Brad manages to expose Sidwell and Marco's shady dealings, he could effectively put a stop to Lucas's relationship with Marco while simultaneously positioning himself as Lucas's savior and protector. Brad understands the criminal underworld of Port Charles better than Lucas does, and he recognizes danger when he sees it. His past experiences and connections in town may give him unique access to information that could prove crucial in revealing the full extent of Marco's deception. Brad might very well hold the key to steering Lucas away from disaster and back toward safety. The question remains whether Brad can successfully intervene before it's too late. Time is of the essence, as every day Lucas spends at Windermere increases the likelihood that he'll stumble upon something he shouldn't know. Sidwell has proven he's willing to eliminate anyone who becomes a liability, and Pascal stands ready to carry out whatever violent orders he receives. Brad needs to act quickly and decisively to rescue the man he's never stopped loving from a situation that could easily turn fatal in an instant. A second chance at love. Brad's potential rescue of Lucas could serve as the foundation for rebuilding their relationship. Sometimes people need to hit rock bottom and face genuine danger before they can truly appreciate what they had and lost. Lucas's experience with Marco might teach him valuable lessons about judgment, trust, and the difference between surface-level charm and genuine devotion. Brad's heroic intervention could help Lucas finally realize that he's been with the wrong man all along and that sometimes the devil you know is infinitely preferable to the charming stranger hiding deadly secrets. The history Brad and Lucas share runs incredibly deep, encompassing years of love, partnership, and yes, painful betrayals. However, that shared history also means they know each other intimately, understand each other's flaws and strengths, and have built memories together that neither has been able to forget. Lucas's feelings for Brad never truly disappeared despite his attempts to move on with Marco. Those emotions simply went dormant, waiting for the right catalyst to bring them rushing back to the surface. Brad's role as Lucas's rescuer could very well be that catalyst, reigniting the spark that once burned so brightly between them and offering both men a genuine second chance at the happiness they threw away.